People who don't play retail commenting on the state of retail. Let's hear about it, man. Let's see what they have to say. And this is big. So this video is called "This is why WoW PvP is so bad," with 35,000 views. Everybody loves to hate on WoW PvP, man. It's crazy. We got a bunch of haters, is what we got. All right. Let's hear it. Let's freaking hear it.
How do I talk about this? Raikou, if you guys don't know, is one of the most distinguished WoW pros in the AWC.
That's
He's
crazy.
had many tournament wins over many expansions. Highly respected mage player in the
That's
community.
crazy.
And Venruki, same thing.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's me.
Let's get into this just a little bit. In general, Dragonflight PvP, and most likely the War Within, just suffers from the same problem. Everything is catered towards Mythic Plus so that everyone has to do insane AoE damage and everything has to AoE. But this is the exact opposite of what Arena is supposed to be. This is...
I think that's probably true. He's probably right.
This slow clap.
very well said. This is very well said.
This, by the way, is the reason why PvP in an MMO will always be bad. And you should never try to make PvP balanced in an MMO, because in doing so, like, PvP is always going to be a side game.
The only reason that I played WoW since 2006 is PvP. Literally, the only reason I've played World of Warcraft is because of PvP. If it wasn't duels in vanilla and battlegrounds, if it wasn't arena in TBC, arena in Wrath of the Lich King, RBGs and arena in Kata, all the way through, I would not play WoW. 100%. And I've liked it the entire way through. So this idea that like there shouldn't be PvP in WoW, or it's just this little mini side game nobody cares about. There's actually a lot of people that care about it, and there's a big community of people that care about it.
It's always a side game. The majority of people, unless it's like one of these like niche PvP MMOs, if you have a big game, the majority of people are not going to be doing PvP.
I talk about this all the time on my stream. I say this all the time. Raikou said it very well. This is the major issue with retail PvP right here. And the thing is,
I think the major issue, honestly, is the fact that there's too many buttons. There's too many buttons. There's too much going on.
Asmongold would like BM Hunter, I think. Trust me, like there is a spec for you. If you like classes that don't have a lot of buttons, those buttons, you know, those things do exist.
It's hard to keep track of what's
and they're fun too.
And it's confusing. Like, that's the reason why I don't play. Like, for me, I can't tell what's happening in the game in PvP, and I've played it for 15 years. Like, half of the plays that people try to make, I don't really fully understand them.
I don't even blame Blizzard.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Because if 90% of your player base plays Mythic Plus,
exactly.
and 10% of your player base plays Arena,
who are you
cater to the
design
90%
for?
makes
exactly.
sense
Yeah, it's
to
common
me.
sense.
So I don't even blame them. But it's still true. So let's get into this a bit deeper. Raikou also tweets,
this is definitely true. However, one of the reasons is that I think that PvP in games that are MMOs, it's just like an MMO PvP is like, in my opinion, an oxymoron, right? Because MMOs
I don't agree.
are built off of consistent character progression that you work towards over time, and PvP is built around fighting in an arena and, you know, having a challenge with another player. How can you do that in an uneven battlefield? You can't. It was doomed to begin with.
What do you mean? Wait, what? What did he just say? Wait, let me listen to that again.
And Arya. Like, really, like, WoD, it was like kind of there, but this is probably true. Like, I'm thinking back, and like every expansion since like MMOs. It's just like of the plays that people try to make.
Arena, but deeper.
Since PvP, I think that PvP in games that are MMOs, it's just like an MMO PvP is like, in my opinion, an oxymoron, right? Because MMOs are built off of consistent character progression.
Okay.
That you work towards over time, and PvP is built around fighting in an arena and, you know, having a challenge with another player. How can you do that in an uneven battlefield?
What?
You can't. It was doomed to begin with.
What does that even
From
mean?
the very beginning, it was doomed.
The most
What does that mean? Is he talking about like gear? Like it's unfair? Like the classes are unfair, or like the gear is unfair? Or what is he talking? What does he mean? The gear? Well, I mean, gear is fair in PvP, and like retail gearing and class balance is like some of the best it's been ever in the history of WoW. Like I think the most specs are viable right now, and gear is gear, but like it's pretty. Once you get full PvP gear, you're pretty chilling. It's not that hard to get, so I don't really know what he's saying.
Noticeable thing about playing Cataclysm compared to retail is that in Cataclysm, my spells, mage, are single target. My Ice Lance, my Orb doesn't go on CC targets. Single target damage is high. Meanwhile, in DF, Sheep is 6 seconds, and I AoE on every button I press. Everyone else AoEs as well. Once again, yes, very well said. If you want PvP to return to this like really high skill expression, AoE spamming should probably not be a part of it. But that ruins Mythic Plus, so it might not be a good idea for Blizzard to do that, but it's still worth.
That's probably true. Like, I'm thinking back, and like every expansion since like Legion, whenever I had the highest rating, our strategy was usually to kill everybody at the same time. Like, yeah, just get them all together and like do Whirlwind, Sweeping Strikes, and Bladestorm, and then they're dead. And if that didn't work, then you're dead. Because they are doing Whirlwind, Sweeping Strikes, and Bladestorm, and they killed you.
Talking about and saying that this is probably a root fundamental issue.
Yeah.
The other issue is self-healing. So you have like two massive issues. Self-healing is too high. That's talked about. We've done that. We've packed that. Everyone gets that. Everyone agrees there, right? Self-healing.
Yes, 100% it is. It's not even close. This happened in like Mists of Pandaria, is whenever it really kind of escalated, and then in Legion it was like
way
huge.
Too high. But the other pillar is this: AOE for every class, mobility for every class. Like, is just too high because of Mythic.
I always think it's like kind of like a double-edged sword. Like sometimes I feel like recovery in WoW is too much, but then there's like the opposite side of the spectrum where it feels like you don't have enough. There's like nothing you can do. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like for example, like when I play retail sub-rogue, it's OP, obviously. Like in 1v1s, for example, retail sub-rogue. Like retail sub-rogue in a 1v1 is OP. Like you can spam vanish, you have heals for yourself, you're always in stealth, like you can cloak all your bleeds off. Like you have so many options you can do to recover and get away and restart. But the opposite of that is like vanilla rogue, right? Where like you have one dot on you and you lose. Like you get a dot on you and your class is just deleted. You can't vanish anymore. You can't do anything. Like you get a hunter's mark or a fairy fire on you and your class is just literally unplayable. You can't do anything ever. So it's like, I guess there's like a middle ground, but I do like, especially if the game's going to go more towards like solo queue and stuff like that and solo shuffle, having some buttons to keep yourself alive feels good. Like when your healer's in CC, having some buttons you can press to actually stay alive, and it does feel good in my opinion. So it's like, I don't know. I do think we're probably too far in that direction of like you too many defensives, but I also feel like having no defensives sucks.
That way for the Mythic Plus design to actually make sense.
Yeah.
And I thought Raiku's just said it very well. Once again, Raikou says, can we please change this? This is a good example. It should be a node here. Instead of picking splitting ice, it should be your Ice Lance now does 24.
So I have a comment about this. Let's
percent more damage, but it doesn't cleave. Stuff like this is horrible for PvP. So once again, splitting ice makes your Ice Lance.
Nobody cares about PvP. Look at this. This guy's one of the most popular, or one of the most like renowned, like PvPers. This post has 27 likes. Blizzard doesn't care about them. The sooner that PvPers realize that Blizzard doesn't care about you and you should spend your time, like, just stop. Like, the best thing, if I knew somebody who was trying to get into competitive WoW PvP, I would give them the best advice possible and I would tell them to quit. Stop it. Go learn League of Legends, go learn Valorant, go learn Counter-Strike, and invest your 10,000 hours into a game that matters. The player base doesn't care about you. The developer doesn't care about you. Viewers don't care about you. And you don't make any money. What are you doing?
Split, but then it breaks CC. So instead, it should be a choice node. And for PvP, you would choose, like, your Ice Lance does more damage, but it doesn't split. Or your Ice Lance doesn't do more damage, but it does split. And you choose one. So you can choose, like, a single target build or an AoE build, and that would make a lot more sense. And then Venruki says, this talent has always made me laugh. It cleaves your spells and gives your single target damage. It would be awesome if it was a choice.
Tough choice there.
But there's lots of examples like this. The same thing.
So I thought about this. I actually thought about this a lot. Like, why does this talent exist like this? Where it's like you get Ice Lance damage and Ice Skull damage, single target, but you also cleave your spells. You have to... It's a mandatory talent. If you don't pick this talent, you don't know. You have no clue. You know, the only time you maybe won't do it is if you're, The only time you maybe won't do it is if you don't want to cleave your spells, but all your spells AoE anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're still going to AoE. But I think the reason why is because if this was a choice node, I do think it would be better for, like, PvP, and having more single target options would be good. But also, I feel like they mostly... I think it's mostly just that they don't want PvEers to have to change their talent every fight. You know? And it seems like it's kind of Frost's thing to do, like, 2-target cleave. Let's do, like, a little thought experiment here, okay? You guys ready? Let's do, like, a little thought experiment. All right? So, like, Asmongold saying anyone that cares about WoW PvP should just quit and go play League of Legends. Does that hold up in, like, anything else in life? You know, I mean, maybe, but, like, imagine you're someone that, like, grew up and you played badminton. You know, like, you played badminton and you love badminton and it's your favorite game ever, and you compete at badminton, you do really well. You don't really make that much money. The sponsorships are way less than tennis. But would it make any sense for someone to be like, yeah, what are you fucking doing wasting your time on badminton, man? You need to go get professional at tennis. Like, that's just, like, that's not real, you know?
Comet Storm, the same thing with Ice Nova, right? You have these, like, AoE classes just start to build up, and it's like, wait, no, we want options to make single target specs so that you make CC great again. So you go for CC chains and burst and stuff like that. But anyway, we'll kind of venture there. I wanted to talk about this because I thought Raikou said it very well. I agree with Venruki's take here, and a lot of people ask my thoughts on, like, War Within, and, like, essentially this is it. It's like, well, I mean, it's gonna be awesome.
It's PvP in WoW has been dead since Mists of Pandaria. Like, really, like, WoD, it was, like, kind of there, but the truth is that everybody who wanted a competitive third-person, single target or single unit competitive experience, a huge group of those people moved over to MOBAs.
I mean, I literally, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I literally don't know any ex-WoW pros that are playing MOBAs instead. I literally don't know one. If you guys could name one, like, literally a single one. Azael. Okay, Azael. But he commentates a little different, but, like, the idea that, like, all the WoW PvPers went to play MOBAs, I think that's just not true. I think, like, don't get me wrong, I love Asmongold, but I think that's just not true.
And also, like, the player base just isn't there. Like, you don't have people that are playing and queuing BGs anymore because they're hard to understand. You don't know what's going on. There's just too many things in the game for a normal person to get into the game and be able to understand it. Like, for example, I could watch like a PvP video from, you know, like Pat or like the Maydai videos or Swifty videos. And even if you didn't really understand the game, you could pretty much see what was happening in classic WoW PvP. You could get it. You know what I mean? Whereas in retail, you can be playing the game. You can be actively playing the game, and you will understand less than you did if you didn't play the game and you watched a classic PvP video. You can't do it.
If you're a Mythic Plus.
True. But like, okay. To play devil's advocate a little bit, like when I watch like League of Legends, like when you watch like a 5v5 in League of Legends, does anybody know what that, like if you don't play League of Legends and you watch like a team fight in League, would you have any fucking clue what's going on? And League only has 4 abilities. League has like 4 abilities and a few extras. When I watch a team fight in League, I have no idea what's going on at all. And actually, let's watch a video, like insane League of Legends team fight. I'm just gonna Google that and see.
Canyon, if you do it again.
Like, let's watch. Like,
Canyon, if you do it again. Oh my, okay. This time Peanut secures the objective.
What's happening?
Now fighting towards this backside.
They're all running.
Back towards the rest of his
What's going on?
Genji still
what's happening?
Arbor Trespass is going to come in.
All right.
The ulti, brilliant
that guy's by himself.
This time is Canyon.
He's being annoying. I don't know.
It is not the 3-man. It doesn't have the follow-up.
What's going on?
Doc Dump still has ultimate available. They don't quite know where he is now. They do.
Whoa, what are all these numbers?
In the back line. Peanut trying to get him out. Scatter the weak connect.
Okay, I guess that guy's gonna die. But why?
Goes golden.
Why are we excited? What's that? What is that ability? What's happening? I think he's gonna die.
Yes, he can. Ruler turns it on its head. Oh my God.
That was insane.
And Ruler will get past the corner.
I have no fucking clue what happened. Okay, so that's kind of my point. Literally no idea what just happened. Not even a single clue.
Player or a world first raider, but if you're a PvPer, like there's some really fundamental root issues.
GGs are hard to understand.
Yeah, anyway, that's my take.
Yeah, they are massively too hard to understand. Way too hard to understand. And I think this is what's happening, right? Is that you have
way too hard to understand.
You have these games and they're so complex. And also, why would somebody care about PvP in an MMO?
Self-healing.
Like where is the audience coming from that cares about PvP in an MMO?
I like it. Like, what? I guess it's, I'm talking about myself. He'll be like, I guess, oh yeah, you, only you. And the only reason you care is because it's your job. I mean, it's so interesting to me. I was watching another streamer. I won't mention their name. I was watching another streamer, and someone asked them like, "Oh, they were playing. What were they playing? That new Chinese MMO, whatever it is. I forget what it's called." And someone's like, "This game would be sick if there was." Yeah, they were playing Terrace Land, and someone goes, "This game would be sick if there's PvP." And he goes, "No, it wouldn't. PvP sucks. Just look at WoW. WoW PvP is terrible. It sucks. I wouldn't recommend anyone play it. Don't bother. It's terrible garbage." And I'm just like, dude, what? Like, I don't find, like, if someone came into my stream and was like, "Hey, Ven, should you try, like, should I play Mythic Plus or Raid?" I would be like, I'm going to be honest, man. A lot of people love it. Like, Mythic Plus seems really popular. People enjoy it. Like, go check it out. You want to raid? I don't do that personally, but some people really like it. Maybe. Go try. Find out for yourself. I can't imagine be like, Mythic Plus is fucking shit. Don't bother playing that garbage trash. Like, that is just the most boring thing ever. Just fighting NPCs. Lol. But that's like the kind of vitriol we see from some people. I truly think the reason people prefer Mythic Plus over PvP is simply because you can't go down a rating when your group screws up. Yeah, it's like a constant progression upwards. Yep, I think there's some truth to that. Maybe I'm the minority, but I enjoy PvP. I also have been able to do PvE content, collect stuff when I'm burned out from the grind. I want to do something mindless. Yeah, I think that's a great thing about WoW. Great thing about WoW is there's so many different options. All right, let's keep going.
Because all of the people that care about MMO PvP in the context of like, what do you call it? All the people that care about MMO PvP in the context of a competitive environment are automatically going to move away, and they're not going to like that because you're going into the game with an advantage that the other person doesn't have. So like, how could you possibly enjoy a game if you want to play on an even playing field with somebody else? It's like you're starting with, you know, a scout and the other guy has an op. Like in Counter-Strike, like they have a massive advantage over you. Like that's it. Now, can you beat them if you're better than them? Yeah. But is it going to be harder? Absolutely. So that's what happens. And you losing those people, and then the people that care about getting better gear and then just stomping people, you can't do that as much as you used to anymore because of stat scaling. And also it doesn't feel as good because of the way that the game is designed. So who are they making the game for? Who like, where is...
Metaphors, I'm going to have to ask you very kindly to not do the one-line enter thing, please. Appreciate it. Thanks for filling me in, though. What was I going to say? I don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about, like, the game is super unfair. I mean, there's, like, a small portion of when you're queuing where the game's unfair, where you're gearing up. But, I mean, if you start at the beginning of the season, or even in the later season, you can catch up, and then it's fair again, right? You have fair gear. You know? So
this target audience of PvPers. Who are they? Where are they? Are they in the room with us right now? Probably fucking not, because they're gone. They stopped playing the game 10 years ago. Nostalgia Andes, yeah, exactly. I'll give you guys a link to the video. I agree with Zaryu a lot about this. The same 300 people with 20 characters? Yeah, exactly. Like, MMOP.
Dude. So funny, man.
P is because you can be a stronger character with skill, which is why it's good. It makes you go out of your way to get better, to go compete in the arena. I understand that's the way that you think about it, but I'll change the way that, like, this is the way that I think a lot of people think about it.
Can we stop listening to Asmund? No, I think it's important that we watch these videos, you know? Like, he can say what he wants, and I can do my best to rebuttal it and stuff.
They see somebody else that has an advantage over them, and they quit. Because they say, this isn't fair. I'm going to lose. And how do I know that? Do you remember back in Classic WoW when everybody was so adamant on the idea that people like the challenge of playing on a lower, on like a 60-40 PvP server where they're the minority? And like they like playing on a imbalanced PvP server because they like the challenge of having a bunch of other people around?
This stuff doesn't matter though. Like I think, okay, well,
and then you saw every single one of those servers go completely one-sided. See, people say this. They don't do it. That's not actually what people do. This is complete fucking, you know, oh, I'm a badass. And then, like, you're getting killed by 4 people at the same time. You have no chance of winning. This happens to you for 2 hours and you quit the game. Like, that's it. You think you do, but you don't. Well, yeah, you think, exactly. Or everyone did AVV, did in PvP, it turned into a PvE race. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, like, at least at least on retail, like the game that I play and enjoy the most, like when you're queuing solo shuffle, or you're queuing 2s, or you're queuing 3s, or you're queuing, you know, battleground blitz, like it's not unfair numbers, you know. In an ideal world, especially as you know, people are playing more, you do have fair gear, so there's not this huge like disadvantage thing that he's talking about. Maybe like class balance, but like I said, class balance is probably the best it's been.
Let's see here. I also tend to dislike MMO PvP because the class balance has to be very good for it, and it's never going to be very good. That's the thing, is that you're never going to get people to respect asymmetrical PvP. It's literally that simple. If you go into combat with an advantage that somebody else doesn't have, that is not something that you are like choosing for that round. Why not? Because it's not fair. What do you mean, why not? It's not fair. One person has an advantage the other person doesn't have. They win. Well, it's not enjoyable anymore. Life isn't fair? I know, but people are playing video games to get away from life. Think about it. We don't want it fair? You say we don't want it fair. But the numbers indicate otherwise. And that's the difference. People love to talk a big game about this stuff, but the truth is that when you see people that are going up against insurmountable odds and people that are going into a fight knowing that they have an 80% chance of losing because of something that, you know, is external to the fight, you see people not queuing up anymore. They're quitting. And every single observable metric proves this. It's tedious. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, these numbers here, when I look at these numbers, is this 1800 plus? You guys know? Like when you look at like these solo shuffle numbers and the activity, I think it's only is it tracking 1500 plus? 1800 plus? Like which one is it? I actually forget. Like what is a cutoff for tracking? Try going to the last page. I don't know. Oh, can I? No, I don't think you can do it that way. I assume it's 1600, 1800. Anyways, yeah. So like in this is in the last 24 hours. So let's take a look at this. Dead game. In the last 24 hours in the US, there's been 23,000 shuffle rounds played. In the last 24 hours. And this isn't even including everybody, by the way. I think it's 1800 cutoff. So above 1800, which is, I don't know. Maybe most people, I don't know, but above 1800. There's certainly people under 1800. There's been 23,000 shuffle rounds played in the last 24 hours. And in Europe, 23,000 as well. So just solo shuffle has had 23,000 rounds played in both regions in 24 hours. And a truth about WoW is the game is very seasonal. As someone who's been streaming WoW PvP for a really long time, the game is very seasonal. Normally, the last season of expansion has the least activity. There's still pretty good activity, truth be told. And yeah, it's very like for myself, my numbers when a new expansion comes out or it's like a new big patch, numbers spike up. When it's winding down the end of the expansion and the game's split up between Kata and retail and you know, season of discovery, yeah, it's saying the game is dead is like I think that's a big take.
You say you want it to be fair because you think you're going to win? Exactly. Of course. Some people just want to go seal clubbing? Yeah, exactly. Asman, such a fried take for someone who did PvP in retail for 4 years. What about what I'm saying isn't true? Mr. I have a WoW profile picture. This is a World of Warcraft profile picture. It's not a good transmog. It's a full set. It's a full set with the TCG tabard set. Or a TCG tabard. It's not.
Why is he making fun of his mog?
Not even a big deal. What is it? And also,
not really. Okay.
Why would I PvP in a game that I think isn't very like I don't think the PvP experience is good and it's not enjoyable? Why would I play it? What's the logic there? I mean,
yeah, that's a good point. If you don't like the game, you shouldn't play it. But do you have to tell everyone else that the game sucks? I don't know. Like if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's cool. If you like the game, you like the game. Like I don't know.
I'm explaining why I don't play PvP. I don't find it fun. I think it's annoying and it's stupid. So yeah, why would I do that? If I want PvP, I could just play a PvP game. First of all, you get geared in PvP really quick.
That's
you
true.
didn't listen to what I said. It's still asymmetrical. It is. It's asymmetrical. It's not even confusing.
Okay.
Spread the well, bro. This guy, Ox. Damn, bro. This guy's so annoying. All right, I'm gonna ban this guy. Okay. Anyway, so.
Wait, he banned him?
Not this one. It's just somebody else typing this.
Oh, okay.
Weird fucking bullshit.
I was like, what do you?
I don't know, like, bro, this is so fucking weird. Like, what are you? Jesus Christ, get the fuck out of here. Anyway, so
he
yeah,
he didn't ban this guy.
Yeah, why would somebody play? Step 1, find a friend. Step 2, play 2v2 and have fun. No, you're not gonna have fun. See, like, you don't even understand.
You're not gonna have fun.
What's your character name? Give me your character name right now. I'm gonna look you up. What is the character right there? What's the picture of that character? That's a Night Elf Rogue. I'm pretty sure it's a Night Elf Rogue. Windhawks? What server? So I guess he must be in the EU servers, but I don't think I can even go to that. Ah, fuck. I can't find it. Yeah, that's too bad. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. I apologize, guys. I don't think it's going to happen. Wait. Oh, I might have it here. One more. Double check. I can't. Okay, well,
Wait,
anyway,
what?
I guess we're not going to be able to do this. I apologize. So, yeah. Anyway, the armor set that you're wearing in that picture is from Legion. This is an elite armor set. I think it's actually that's the mythic armor set from Legion. So, you have played the game at least for 7 years. Or 8 years, probably.
Okay.
So, what are we talking about that, like, this is, like, for you, it seems easy. Just do an EU, yes. Just use check.pvp. Okay. Check PvP.
Here we go.
Wow.
All right, let's get it.
I've never seen this before. Yeah, I've never seen this. Okay. Search your profile. Okay, here we go.
Take a look.
528. He's 2400 rated. And how long has this guy played the game? Is there a way I can actually just click on this? Yeah.
Wow, he's got a big
Oh,
profile.
this makes it way easier. All right, so you have 7,000 achievement points, and how long have you played the game? Legacy achievements, let's go ahead and scroll down. Dungeons. So, expansion features, current world events maybe, character. 2016 at least, right? You've played the game since 2016. There are a lot of people who have been very outspoken about me not knowing what I'm talking about. But what I think they don't understand is that their experience playing the game is so much different than somebody who is new to the game. That's 8 years, man.
Yeah.
I agree, it's really bad for new players or people who don't put effort in. Why would somebody want to put in effort when they're losing an unfair fight? You queue into a match, you lose to somebody who has better gear than you, and you're dead. Why would somebody do that? Why wouldn't they just immediately stop playing?
I mean, I will agree he has a little bit of a point. I actually think, so my personal opinion is that in like battlegrounds, like in the content that where you're gearing up, I feel like you should be scaled to a certain level. Like, I think there has to be, like, I think the item level should be closer. Because I actually kind of agree with this a little bit. Like, having really bad gear is actually super unfun. And it makes it so you don't really understand why you're losing. So I do agree at this point. Like, I think at like random battlegrounds and stuff, I would actually like to see people scaled up to a point. Because if you're just trying out PvP and you have really bad gear and you're just getting one shot by everything, it sucks. Agreed. But if you do kind of know what you're doing, that process is not as bad as it used to be. Like, the process of being the dog of the lob, the noob who can't do anything, like, that process isn't as bad. But I still think I would even personally like to see honor gear and conquest gear have a smaller gap, like even smaller. You know, like, make it a very minimal difference between the gear, so you can play and it doesn't feel so bad. I agree with that a little bit.
And play another game where they're not at a disadvantage.
Yo, Slinky, thanks for the prime, dude.
And I'm thinking about this from a perspective, because I know the reason why, right? It's so you can get the gear and do it to somebody else. Sure. But that is not what PvPers and people that actually like a competitive environment want to do.
True.
That's what MMO Andies want to do.
No, not me.
Getting gear is not an issue. In Dragonflight, Source, trust me, bro. You don't start with the gear. And if you think that it's not an issue, you don't understand how much free time people have. And why would somebody, how many hours do you think it takes to get fully geared at the beginning of a new season? 4 to 8 hours. So you're telling me that within 4 hours, you can get the best PvP gear in the game? No. Okay, of course not. Right, of course not. So,
sheesh.
Here's the point, okay? My point that I'm making is that WoW PvP is made for no one. The high-end competitive players,
all right, here we go,
don't really get any sort of like real advantage from playing the game, because so if you want to compete in a game and make money, like let's say you're a 19-year-old young buck, right? You're a 19-year-old guy and you really want to get into esports. Why would you start playing World of Warcraft? Why wouldn't you start trying to play League or another game that's more popular? So you don't have the young players that are trying to get into the game because they want to be in the competitive scene, because there is no competitive scene, right? There's just a handful of old people. So the second thing, the average casual player is getting alienated because they are playing asymmetrical PvP against somebody who's way better than them. Then number 3, you queue into 1700 2v2s, you're going to see somebody who's a gladiator. That's insane. It's insane that that happens. So you're playing against people that have a 10-year advantage over you and that have 0.5% achievements, and they're just going to stomp the shit out of you.
True.
Right, take a step out. Anyone who starts playing League today is at a massive disadvantage. They are at a massive disadvantage, but here's the difference. They stand to gain way more. People care about League, and you can make a lot more money playing League.
Most people, like, guys, but I don't think most people play video games to make money. Is that true? Like, I mean, obviously streaming WoW is my job. So anything that I say, people will automatically write off because I stream WoW. But the truth is I actually play a lot of WoW off stream. Play a lot of WoW PvP off stream because I enjoy the game. And the reason I got into WoW is because I just like the game. Like most people, I really wonder how many people's main consideration when they are playing a game is how much money can I make from it? It's got to be a really small percentage of people, right?
That's the difference. Asymmetrical PvP only works in large-scale battles. Yeah, listen, it's this simple. No one will ever care about or respect asymmetrical PvP other than the spectacle of it. That's it. To the extent that you can queue in with a tool or a resource that somebody else cannot queue in with, nobody will ever respect or care about that. Period. That's it. Don't try to make MMO PvP competitive. Try to make it fun. And if you do that, maybe things would be okay. But yeah, anyway, that's what I think. I think WoW PvP is dead. It was always destined to die. And now it's so dead that nobody cares about it. And there's just a few old people that are trying to relive the glory days of 15 years ago. That's all there is to it. Anybody who cares about PvP is playing a different game. So yeah, that's about it.
All right. I mean, there's not much to follow up with that. Okay. That's a take, man. That's a take. For sure. Yeah, it's not an uncommon thought, right? And it's like, I guess if you say it enough, people start believing it. But yeah. I still like the game. Last 2 minutes he was cooking? Definitely. But yeah, I like Asmongold. I don't necessarily agree with him on this stuff.